What is going on, guys? I finally have Surface Duo 2 in my hands thanks to all of you who did stop by for my live unboxing. We nearly hit 500 people in that live stream. Absolutely incredible. And since I've had my Surface Duo 2, the first thing I needed to do was take some photos comparing the original Surface Duo with the Surface Duo 2 to determine if this enormous camera bump was in fact worth having on the device. I ran outside, kind of an overcast day, and I snapped a bunch of pictures. Surface Duo 2, Surface Duo 1, and I'm going to show them to you here now so that I can tell you conclusively, is the camera better on Surface Duo 2? And the answer unequivocally is yes, it is. But of course, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. But first, I do want to tell you that this is just Duo versus Duo. So I'm going to do another video later where I'm going to compare it to something like the Z Fold that is off screen there, something more flagshipy, and kind of get a comparison that way. But for now, Duo versus Duo. So let's jump into that first. I've got a bunch of pictures here to go through. We're going to deep dive into these guys now. Okay, so our first image here looks pretty decent, if I'm being honest with you. The colors look okay, nothing incredible, nothing too punchy. When we zoom in here, the details look okay. I mean, nothing to write home about, but I think that's a passable picture. And this picture was taken by the original Surface Duo, and in a decently well lit kind of overcast day like this is where Surface Duo 1 is going to be able to do okay and hold its own. Let's let that load. It looks fine. Let's jump over to Surface Duo 2, and you'll see one thing immediately. The colors are much more saturated, much more vibrant. And is it even a touch more vibrant than I saw with my eyes? Maybe, but I will say this is flatter than what I saw with my own eyes. This is probably closer. It's not quite the old school Samsung look that was way over the top, but it is pretty well saturated. Let's zoom in here and see the detail difference as well. I think that you have better details here as well. And if we jump over here to the sides, let's let this load. I think overall this is the more detailed picture, and I think the far more pleasing picture to my eye and probably closer to reality. Going on to the next picture, this is the big tree in my backyard. Again, this was taken by the original Surface Duo. The detail isn't great. This is a place where Duo 1 does begin to struggle. When you're looking at things that are further away, it's washed out, it's a little grainy, it's a little hazy. Not a phenomenal picture. Duo 2 does do it better. It's brighter, it's more vibrant. The details are sharper as this does load. The details are definitely sharper, crisper, better dynamic range. Look down here in the shadows down here versus here. Much more detail, much better dynamic range. And with Surface Duo 2, you do have the ability to use an ultra-wide camera to take a picture that the original Surface Duo just simply would not be capable of taking. And even on the ultra-wide, which is a 12 megapixel, the detail does remain pretty decent. I would say the detail on the ultra-wide is still on par with or better than the detail on the standard. The dynamic range is certainly better than on the standard. And of course, it's just an image you can't get on the original Surface Duo. And also, Surface Duo does have a telephoto, which will allow you to zoom in 2 times and get a much closer shot where you're going to be able to pick up details that are actually pretty decent for a 2x telephoto. It's going to be interesting to see how it does compare to my Z Fold in terms of a telephoto picture like this. But overall, I think that's a decent image. Moving on to the next one here is a little white rose I have in the backyard. And again, Surface Duo looks about how you expect it. It's hazy, it's washed out. There's a lack of dynamic range here in the shadows, and there's some graininess here as well in the background. With Surface Duo 2, it is brighter, it is clearer. Hey, look at that, there's dynamic range. Little did you know there was some stuff going on inside this flower. You would have never known that with the original Surface Duo, and you get more bokeh, more natural bokeh blurring there than you did here. It is kind of blurred, kind of natural bokeh, but look at these leaves, look at that stem, compare that to here. That is a much better looking picture in my mind as well. Keeping it moving. This is a hummingbird feeder in the backyard as well. And I like using this picture because there's a lot going on here in terms of dynamic range down here, in terms of the clouds and this undercarriage of my carport here going to Duo 2. And it's an entirely different looking image. You can actually see the details here. Dynamic range is becoming a real factor in this video so far. Look at the detail up here in the leaves that was lost before. Well, now it is found. This is a considerably better image. Let's keep moving. This is a plant in the backyard. I don't know how much we're going to be able to tell here, but this was Surface Duo, and I think this is a pretty fine image. Duo 2, I didn't have it rotated the same way because I forgot how I had it oriented, but I would say more vibrant colors, more detail all around. I would say this is, again, the better image. Let's let that load. You can see some good detail there in the roots. Let's back up to Duo 1. Let's zoom in again and let that clear up. Definitely a more detailed, more vibrant image. Okay, so we're moving on inside the house here, and this is an area that I use quite a bit because the Duo seems to struggle here. So first off, the walls are not quite this color. They're a different shade of green than this, so that's a problem. It's kind of hazy looking. The details aren't great. Look at the text here where it says Samsung, hard to read. Let's go to Duo 2. This is more accurate in terms of the color of the wall. Let's zoom in. Is Samsung easier to read? Why, of course, it is. I think that is definitely the better image. Now let's turn the lights off. And this was taken on Surface Duo. I promise. Look, I didn't do anything special. I just took the image. It blew the focus. It was hard for it to know what the heck was going on. Terrible, terrible, terrible image. On Duo 2, you have a proper night mode. And you know what? It does okay. It was pretty dark in that corner. You've still got good detail. This is comparable to the image taken with the lights turned on. Not a great night mode, but far better than anything the original Duo could take. How about a macro image, getting up nice and close? Well, on Surface Duo, again, looks fine. Duo 2, colors are more vibrant, detail is better. This thing is dirty. Just so you know, this is a GTX 960 from a computer I built years ago for a family member that I'm going to clean up and rebuild and get into working order again. So yes, that is quite gross. I'm sorry for showing you that. Let's jump now to a picture of Ducky, my chameleon. This is Surface Duo. Let's zoom in. Let's look at the details here. Let's look at the vibrancy of the colors, or maybe the lack thereof. And with Duo 2, it's a warmer image. It's a more detailed image. I'm saying the same things over and over, but they keep on being true. Look at the bokeh in the background, the nice soft blur compared to this. Here is my boy Rutherford taking the portrait mode test here, and portrait mode on the original Surface Duo sucks. For some reason, Copper is still in focus here in the background, much more than the ground in front of her paw here. It really struggled. Going to Surface Duo 2, it's a much better portrait. She's much more blurred appropriately. The blur does softly move down his body. That's just a better picture in every possible way. Now, before I jump to the next image, I wanted to say something that's quite weird. So a lot of people have been complaining, and that was Surface Duo 2. In order to take a picture, you must be in book mode. You have to be here to take a picture. They said, man, I wish I could take a picture still in phone mode. Someone on my live stream asked if that was possible to take a picture in phone mode, and I can demonstrate to you that it is in fact possible. Here's what you have to do. So on your Surface Duo 2, simply close it where the selfie camera is on the back side, and you'll have to hit the double tap thing to use that screen. Come on, there you go. And at that point, you can now open up the camera and use the selfie camera to take a picture. I don't know why anyone would want to do this to themselves, but if you do want to do this to yourself, you are able to do it. I can plug my Duo back in because I have been putting this bad boy through its paces. Let's get it charged back up, and let's look at an image of using Surface Duo 2's selfie camera as if it is the primary lens. And this is what we get. And honestly, it's kind of okay. I mean, look, the detail's not great. It's definitely got some noise here. It's not a great looking picture, but it's passable. Now, this is the same picture taken with the primary camera on Surface Duo. Obviously, this is a far superior picture. And then, of course, here is the original Surface Duo itself. It's flat, it's washed out. I would say that it's better than the selfie camera on Surface Duo 2. So how about that? The selfie camera for taking landscape photos, Surface Duo 2 is superior. I also managed to capture in this picture, I believe this is a duck. Nope, not a duck. Some kind of bird, though, flying by. But speaking of selfie cameras, let's jump to selfies. So this is taken on the original Surface Duo. I think it's fine, if not for being washed out. Beard hair test a la Lou from Unbox Therapy passes just fine. And in portrait mode, it does okay. Portrait mode on Surface Duo, when taking a picture of yourself up close, is pretty decent. On Surface Duo 2, though, look, it's a better picture. There's more contrast. There's more dynamic range. Is there more detail? Let's find out. I would say it is at least on par, if not better. That might be better detail, actually. That might just be the contrast making me feel like it's better detailed, but it's definitely a better picture. And the portrait mode does about as well as any portrait mode does with hair. It blurs the wrong sorts of things out. And if we go to Duo 2, it actually completely deleted these hairs because of the fact that the sky is so bright. On here, the sky is much less bright, so you can see the hair being screwed up by portrait mode. That's pretty common for portrait mode, but I would still say that the selfie camera is probably better than it is on Duo 1. But guys, I think that's a pretty comprehensive little review here, comparing Surface Duo 2's triple camera setup to that of the Surface Duo 1. Don't listen to some of these reviews out there saying, yeah, it's a little better than the first Surface Duo. No, it's a lot better than Surface Duo 2. In particular, when we're talking about, yeah, quality, way better. HDR, dynamic range, way, way better. But actually using the camera app is way, way better. It opens faster. The shutter lag is effectively non-existent. Everything's just working well so far. Keep in mind, we're just a day in or so, about half a day when I'm actually filming this video. So this could change. So just take that with a grain of salt. Make sure to stay here on the channel for more coverage as it comes around. I will, of course, be doing the same video as well later on, comparing it to the Z Fold, which is a more flagship style camera. So stay tuned for that. But if your concern was that Surface Duo 2's camera was not a big enough improvement to warrant having the triple camera, when you compare it to the original Surface Duo, it is a lot better. I think this camera setup is fairly respectable. I think it's passable. I think it's going to do the job. Is it the best camera system on the market? No, it's not. But would I give it like a 7 out of 10 at this point? Absolutely. Would I have given Surface Duo 1 a 7? No, I would have given it like a 2. It was one of the worst camera systems I've used on a modern phone. If you're going to touch it up in Snapseed, to post it on Instagram, whatever. But the pictures Surface Duo 2 takes are ready to go right out the gate. I don't feel the need to really edit these things, despite the fact that there is a pretty good editing software on Surface Duo 2, which I will also talk about in later videos. So guys, stay tuned for more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.